I told them I don't do shame. I'm Julie Deanne, and we're here to discover and illuminate why I said this and exactly what you would like to illuminate in your life that you choose to no longer do. Now, when I say I don't do shame or guilt or any of those lower emotions, it's not that I never feel them, but what it is I'm assuming a state of being. I am making a choice. I'm choosing a core belief that I no longer choose to feel shame or guilt. And, there are no superlatives. You can't say you always or never do or experience something. You're going to have the feelings. But the point is, you can mitigate, you can limit, and you can actually reduce ever feeling those feelings by choosing to not focus them because it's your focus. It's what you're focusing on. So by choosing this core belief, I am consciously stating that, no, I don't do shame. What I do is, if that feeling arises, I choose to look at it, and then I'm going to ask myself a series of questions. When I make these statements, I am consciously rejecting and replacing some things with something that I do desire. So I'm consciously rejecting something that I don't desire, and then I'm choosing to replace it with what I do desire, and therefore my focus goes towards what I desire, which then attracts those kinds of experiences to me. So that when those undesirable emotions arise, I'm more quickly able to identify them, even instantaneously, and then recognize it and ask myself, okay, what is this emotion saying? Like, what is it trying to tell me here? Why am I feeling this? And get to the root of that. And then the question becomes, well, wait a second. Where did this come from? Is this true? Do I believe this? Do I want to believe this? Maybe this is projection. Maybe it is someone else's belief, and I am now going to choose to no longer assume that belief. I'm going to change it. And this is where we come into reprogramming. So that's why you reject consciously, you make that decision. No, I'm not going to feel the shame or the guilt anymore. I'm going to replace that with something better. I'm always growing and evolving and changing, so either I'm going to change a perception, a way of looking at that thing, or I'm going to change how I behave, my actions, so that then I don't feel that shame. Like, I'm not going to steal something because that makes me feel shameful and guilty, so I no longer do that. But maybe it's something else, like wearing a certain clothing that some people might think they might have a negative perception of, but you like it, and you decide to wear it anyway. And you decide, well, that's their perception, and quite honestly, other people's opinions are none of our business. They aren't. Anybody else's opinion is none of your business. You need to be concerned with, how do you perceive it? How do you think about it? And they have to deal with how they're going to look at it and go through the same process. So when you ask yourself, what is the real truth here? Then you can decide, is there a better decision that I can make in the future? Or if I could go back, would I change my decision? Would I prefer rather to have a different experience? And it's not that what you experienced is bad. It's simply you are now choosing maybe something that doesn't feel shameful or guilty, right? So you're still learning and you're still progressing. But now when a situation comes up again, you are more likely to choose differently, to choose more in alignment with what you're wanting to experience, something desirable that makes you feel honorable, that makes you feel good inside, more expansive, instead of shameful or guilty. So you're less likely to repeat that behavior. But you also need to ask yourself, did I mess up? Is this something that I need to change? Like the way that I'm feeling about it, or the way that I'm acting in this situation? Or maybe it's simply false. And you can just say, you know what? I'm going to reject that feeling altogether because it's simply not true. It's not true for me. I am choosing my truth, and my truth says, yes, this outfit is perfectly fabulous, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it. Or this action that I'm taking is good for me. It may not be good for them, but that's their opinion, and they're welcome to it. So the goal then becomes to identify the feeling, to feel it, to face it, to talk to it. Yes, have a conversation. What are you telling me here? Why am I feeling this? What is it, shame, that you're trying to tell me? What is it, guilt? What is it, pain or fear? And then when you get to the root of that feeling, then you can decide how you want to address it. If there is a perspective shift, if there is an action that you need to take differently. And that allows you to learn. Because what we are feeling is an indicator. Our feelings are indicators of the way that we are thinking about something. And if we don't like the way that we're feeling, that means we need to change. We have to start with the thoughts, changing the way that we're thinking about something. Going through this process, reflecting on why we feel certain ways about things, and then deciding how and if we want to change it, this process allows us to integrate the lessons, to extract and to learn. And this is really how the mind-body feedback loop works. You have a thought, and the thought produces a feeling. And the feelings are the emotions, the energy and motion in the body, E plus motion, which tells you how you're thinking about something. And most importantly, the goal is to do this process, this reflection, from a place of love, from a place of curiosity, wanting to learn more about yourself, about your inner workings, your mind, your feelings, your body, and to understand, because when you can become best friends with yourself and have a greater understanding, this is what it means when they say to know thyself. It's you start to analyze and reflect upon why you think certain things, why you act in certain ways, why you behave, and why you're perceiving what you are perceiving in your life. And you decide, wait a second, is this just the way I was raised, the programming that came when I came into the world and from my environment and the people I was around? Or are these things that I consciously choose and I'm consciously choosing to reinforce every day? And by picking and choosing, you begin to align yourself with the core beliefs and the way that you want to interact in and with the world. And this is how these micro steps, right? These little subtle changes every day, just one thought or one idea after another, one decision. This is how you begin to change and shape your life in the direction that you would prefer, so that you get less of the experiences that you don't really like, and you can start to experience more of the things that you do like, which translates into becoming a more magical life. And honestly, that's what we're here for. We're here to thrive, to experience, to bring the magic into the world. We are each bridges of the celestial and the terrestrial, the earth. We are the expression, the divine expression of divinity in glorious divine human form. And that's where the joy is. That's where the magic is. So going through this process of listening and asking yourself, do I like this? Do I not like this? And then making decisions from a place of empowerment, something that makes you feel relief, makes you feel more expansion, makes you feel lighter. That's what you're seeking. Any decision or thought you have that makes you feel constricted or tight or constrained or restrained, anything like that, go back and take a wider view of it. Take a different perspective. Do some research. Think about it. Go do something fun and then revisit that topic later. Because the goal is for you to feel lighter, to feel more expansive, and to feel more empowered. And if it's a feeling that doesn't make you feel that, then consider re-looking at it until you reach that level of, okay, now I'm happy with this. Now I'm I'm thinking and now I'm acting in alignment with who I am and what I truly desire in life. So hopefully this is helpful. Drop a comment or send in your question. What would you like to hear more about? And as always, be luminous.